Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Tahir Dhindsa and you're watching SDTV. This war in West Asia has brought the whole world at a place where renewables are taking lead. Everyone is talking about the renewables, even if it's hydel or solar, whatever it is. We have in Pakistan institutions which are working on the as a cross-cutting at the median to save energy and bring efficiency to the current use of energy, and that is very useful. And that is, in fact, it's a requirement for new legislation which the Europe has clamped down as CBAM and other. So we need to bring efficiency as far as the carbon footprint is concerned. We have today with us a person who has seen all this transition from very close quarter and then pulling in, zooming it out at a larger level, at the policy level, and how the things were perceived and why some things have been implemented and other could not be. We have today with us Sardar Mohazzam, who is the former managing director of NEECA, and in his own right, he's an expert on climate change, energy, and this related crisis that is going on. So that's a very first question I would like to ask you, although it is not in junction with what I've just said. Do you think that the point has come where on price differential, renewables have a chance to grow because of the West Asian crisis?
Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. I think the way we are framing this question in countries' context, especially when you look at through the overall electricity prices, the way we have seen in the past, and how it signaled the market, and how the solar revolution is coming to this country. So I think there is no other point to this, that
No.
we have already crossed the tipping point, and we have already reached to this point where now the government has to sort of look into their own strategy, that if they are going for new renewable projects, how they should have to scale it back, because the private sector, the individuals, the prosumers have already been bringing in their energy, their sources, and now they are with the battery revolution coming in, which will be the next revolution in the country, that how people will be totally independent. They don't have any need to rely on the government systems. It's just like when there was earlier we were relying on the municipal water. Now we have Nestle's and all of it, and we are moving into that another space where people sooner have total reliance on their own. And I think with this kind of net metering or the kind of instruments that we put in place, I think then the next thing that is happening and that is very revolutionary, which is already kick-started, is that how our transport sector is moving to that direction. Now we are coming up and listening a lot of this transition, where earlier there was a lot of fuel consumption, and now the elite of the society are shifting to the motor vehicles such as PHEVs and EVs. So their reliance onto this whole fuel that is going away. And sooner and later, if we can see this thing, that even the transition of the existing fleet conversion to electric, that is also happening. So I think overall this kind of price shift is actually bringing in this new innovation. And I think our people especially are very smart, and I think given the kind of culture we have, sooner I think people are getting independent. And this is also a question mark, that how at that time when we are putting a lot of this stranded cost into our energy systems, how we will deal with that.
Do you think that the electricity price, which is, I don't know if I'm not wrong, which is 16 cent per kilowatt at the moment, we should make the fiscal considerations subservient to the price, subservient to the optimum price that can be utilized?
Why so? I mean, it's a very simple thing. Pricing is a market dynamics, market phenomenon. There is supply and demand, right? So why we are trying to make it subservient to anything? It's a very independent thing. Like in any economy globally, in any world, is there any mechanism where we are trying to make it subservient? I think,
Right.
I mean, even we
I'm
tried in the past, like the constitutional courts are setting the price of the sugar, right?
there was right.
So what happened? So it's a market. I mean, you can't deal with it in a way that you
Let
have to
the
make it
market go.
subservient.
Let them-
Market?
So
Free
it will
market.
bring at a scale the creative destruction of the grid, especially.
I think there was this recent discussion with two very senior Pakistani ex. One of them is currently in the chairman, and I think we were listening this discussion from both of them that there will be the grid will be there, but I think the way we are seeing, especially in the country's context, and not just in Pakistan, I think globally there is this very universal phenomenon or the word we are using, that is the spiral death of discourse.
Spiral death. Yeah.
Spiral death. Like every passing day, they are a
Should we
burden.
put some timeline on that? Time tag on that?
Time is already past.
Okay, all right.
The way I see it,
Now the time is to happen.
just a very simple. It's a factual analysis or evidence that I'm bringing in front of you. How much electricity we have generated, transmitted, and distributed from the 1947 till 2023, and how much how much electricity in the same process, which was decentralized purely, we electricity have generated through solars in the country. How much solar was installed in less than 9 months? So if you look at the scale in terms of gigawatts, it's way bigger.
40
So the
years.
question is, like, where is a grid? Grid is there, but I think
Redundant.
sooner and sooner, if that equation is there, so it means that we will be posting more losses in the future.
Right.
Higher prices, more theft.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So
Subsidy.
then the question is, there more circular debt. And if that circular debt is not in the electricity sector, then it is passing on to the gas. So
Right.
somehow this equation still remains the same.
So let the market smother it all.
There is this also the Schumpeterian concept of creative destruction.
Yeah, the book was given
Yes.
Nobel Prize in 2024.
So
Why Nations
that's-
Fail.
Yeah, why nation fail. But I think especially the creative destruction is all about it, that there is this new creation, new innovation, and that is how we are going to deal with
One last question. Where do you see Hydel? Because Hydel is considered very cheap, and it is after once you put in the upfront cost, then it's cheap. Where do you see Hydel? Because most of the time, because of business interest, they promote solar and things like this.
If you are talking about Hydel purely in terms of electricity generation,
Maybe combination.
so then I'll ask, and then my analysis will be based on levelized cost of energy.
Right.
Like if throughout this project life cycle, right from the day one till this retires, how much will be the cost I'm putting in terms of its construction, its labor, overall maintenance, operations, the cost of capital. If I put all this into this equation, so there is this one unit produced is of this cost, for example. But I think for the nation's economy, that's not the thing for Hydels. Hydels, along with this levelized cost of energy, there is this security aspects.
And water also.
Water is also, that's what I'm saying, that is your lifeline, that is your security. Either it's a food security, either it's energy security. So then you're talking about this whole nexus, that water, energy, food. In that nexus in itself encapsulates the concepts of like how you're going to ensure your national security around it. So it's not, when you're talking about Hydels, So Hydel is not about just a levelized cost of energy. That is levelized cost of energy plus national security.
Right.
So I think there can be no compromise about it, especially given our context, like how the climatic changes are happening in the country, the kind of damages because of this disaster and a lot of these things we are facing. So I think definitely under these considerations, Hydel is a priority. Hydel should be a priority. And in the longer term, when on the demand side, things will change. As we're talking about, like maybe there should be a new model of micro or mini grids. There should be a new model that the grid should be dismantled. And
Should
there
be
should be
dismantled.
ultimately like the
Yeah,
structure of discourse will be changed. And I think especially when they see the devolution of power. Actually, this is power in terms of governance, but then there is another devolution of power, which is actually devolution of power of the electricity sector
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
country. That has to
Agreed.
change. And that is another creative destruction that is needed. In spite of fact that we were saying that we are putting a lot of investment, there is a lot of stranded cost, but we have to change. And I think this is the time to start it.
But a few of the licenses were renewed and they expired, I mean, a few years back.
That, that happens.
In the thermal sector.
I mean, that is a different sort of, maybe they have their own portfolio management and kind of the
Whatever.
strategy they are putting in place, which is fine. But I think overall, when you're
That is
talking
the way
about,
forward.
I was earlier saying this, doing the things right and doing the right things.
And doing the right thing. Doing
So
the right
I'm,
things.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm talking about doing the right things.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Means whatever we are doing in terms of these different aspects, we are doing the things right.
Right.
Right? But if you are doing the right things, then it requires a lot of reforms. And actual reforms at a level which will affect the people's life. And I think overall in the systems, what we are looking forward to, that how one individual, one citizen of this country gets better off. That is our goal.
Yeah.
Not like how the system is sustained, status quo is there. I think ultimately goal, that is how the citizen's life gets better.
It should trickle down finally.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank
So
you.
the bottom line is, and I think it's a very beautiful line, not only do the things rightly, but do the right things as well. And I think that is the policy ingredient. If that is done, if somebody could do it, all the rest of the things would settle down and align around it. And I think this is what Keynesian market phenomena is. This is because then ultimately demand side would would decide, and the demand side is ordinary citizen. With this, we come to the end of the program. Bye for now.